Did you guys was yesterday like a thing? At football practice, we were all like, what the fuck, man? Like, the kids are just weird. It's just like the kids are just out of sorts. And I got home, and Mary's like, oh, my God, this is like one of the worst days. She's like, something was going on. Like, all the kids were a problem. Like, one of the kids eloped 5 times. It just was nonstop. Like, all of us were like, what is going on? Full moon was the
harvest moon.
And so... And after
I saw it tonight. It was so nice.
And at practice, one of the guys was like, must be the moon or something. And I'm like, dude, legit. Like, there was a total. And Mary said it. One of our other coaches, a teacher, he's like, my kids are like all separate from each other. We're commenting on how bad and weird all the kids were off yesterday. And one guy was like, maybe it's the moon. And we got home last night, and he's like, he sent an article. Was like, see, it's the moon.
I subbed for a softball team right before I came here. And like half the other team was, when they were in the field, they're like, oh my God, look at the moon. I'm like, you guys are grown men. I mean, I know it's cool, but let's play the game.
Well, maybe you don't know it's cool.
I mean, I can see it. I'm just not going to tell everybody who
I'll
can
see it on
also
my TV
see
later.
it.
Tom doesn't care. Tom's out. Tom's out on
natural phenomenon. Nope, I want to see it through a screen.
Give me CG. Give me a CG moon any day.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a guy who smells like cherry coke, banana nicotine, a guy in a satanic cult on the Oregon coast, and a dirtsy, flirtsy old angel bitch. Martin, Brady, and Tom.
Wherever you are, it's somewhere walking straight for you, but it is walking. If you drive far enough, you can buy yourself some time to think, to decide if you want to give it to someone else.
Daddy! Mommy! Unmake me! And save me from the hell of living!
This week, we begin our annual tradition of friend of the pod, Tom Redding, and Martin trying to get Jeremy and I to watch scary movies throughout October. This year, it's Redding's month of horrors, and we begin with It Follows, which has already cemented its place as a modern horror classic, blending paranoia with the supernatural menace that keeps you on edge the whole time. We followed that up with Longlegs, the recently released thriller that shares the lead actress in Micah Monroe and has its own version of suspense. Welcome back, Redding.
Oh. Yeah.
Wait, so am I the angel bitch?
In said opening? Yes.
Yes. This one, yeah.
But
okay?
All right, I'll take it.
But you're a thirsty, flirty angel bitch.
Hey, as long as I'm included, I'm good.
Welcome to the best month of the pod, right?
Yes, I am happy to be here.
It is, we are here.
And yeah, and the ones we, well, at least these two were ones I was going to rewatch anyway, so this is good.
Longlegs, rewatch?
I think I was going to.
Okay.
I don't know if...
You saw it early, that I'm saying.
I saw it, when it came out on digital, and I don't know if I wasn't in the right headspace, or I was in the right headspace too much, and it was good to watch it a second time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did only watch it once.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
So
are we starting there? Where are we starting?
Where are we going?
Let's start there, because I want to...
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's
I got
the
some
newest
things
one.
to get off my chest.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so too.
Okay.
So going into this, knowing what we have coming up for this month, I wanted to come up with like a scale of like, how scary is the movie?
Okay.
A Tate scale.
A Tate scale. I called it the jump scare scale.
Okay.
And similar to, as we just did Twister and Twisters, you had the F ratings for the tornadoes. I have it labeled as JS. Now, I watched, in order, I watched Longlegs and then It Follows. So I made this jump scale before watching either of those. So JS1, first level, is knees weak, arms heavy.
Ooh, so there are Eminem references here.
Unbeknownst to me,
where's the spaghetti sweater?
Unbeknownst to you.
I had not
Level
seen
5.
It Follows. So before getting into the scale. So then jump scare 2 was sweaty and clammy.
Okay.
Jump scare 3 is pee your pants. Jump scare 4 is shit yourself / vomiting.
Mom
Somehow
spaghetti.
there's a worse.
Mom spaghetti.
And then jump scare 5 is full fetal position, every light in the house on for a week, catatonic.
I hope we get to Jump Scare 5 in this month.
I mean, they're like we've talked about
might.
the one movie. Yeah.
I have a hard time
we'll see.
believing that I'm passing shit yourself.
Yeah, I don't know how that's not.
That feels like that should be at
It's
the
not
end.
literal. It's just kind of like, heart level.
Well, I'm pretty scared. I'm well past shitting myself.
It's like that happened a long time ago, and now I'm in the fetal position.
Yeah. So with that being in mind, I watched Longlegs,
Okay.
thinking, okay, hey, this is one that's got like a psychological thriller to it. It's got the FBI hunting a serial killer. I think I can convince my wife to watch it. She did not last long.
I would imagine.
Fool's errand.
Yeah. 1 minute in, I would.
Well, I
be
was
like,
going to
maybe
say the
she's gone.
first
Right.
10 minutes, maybe.
She made it through the first 10
No,
minutes.
That's
Okay.
aggressive.
I would argue there was no one making it. No one on the fence is making it past the first sighting of Cage.
At the
whatever
house.
minute that was that 6, 5, wherever.
Yeah.
I think if you were even remotely on the fence, you're like out.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was
Are we-
disappointed.
Are we negative? What about you,
No,
Brady?
so the first
Well,
time.
You're the double watcher, so we're gonna
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
give
yeah.
all
And
of
then
us.
you.
I am of. I'm not a hard. Didn't like it like you two. I think I still appreciated the parts, Jelani, that you referenced, like the fact that it was this FBI manhunt, that like that type of thing kept me enjoying the movie. I think there's by no means do I love it, but I would say I'm closer to liking it than not liking it.
I think I could definitely benefit from another viewing, but it's like I just didn't want to. I didn't want to watch it again. I feel like maybe I can be convinced. I just don't. I don't know. It just wasn't so much what I was expecting, and we'll get into why a lot of the weird things
Well,
about
let's
it. But
hear
I
Redding's,
want to hear
yeah,
Redding's.
Yeah,
thoughts.
so the first time I watched it, I was on the fence too. I didn't really care for it. I thought I didn't think she was very good.
Yeah,
Her acting.
I think I'm there with that.
I was also like, okay, it's a little kind of out there that this woman who is so skittish and so in her head and whatever would make it to the FBI, like as a field agent like that. Like it just seemed like out there. And I thought like, and we'll talk about the end a little more, but once it got to the end and she was kind of freed, that maybe her personality or that kind of thing would change a little bit. She was maybe locked inside herself, like the other woman in the mental hospital. But that never happened. It was just she was just the same. So
her skittishness and her like kind of out there vibe gave me Will Graham vibes from Hannibal. That's where I thought I was like, maybe she's got a little of that Will Graham, like she knows a little bit more.
She didn't
than
bother
let
me.
on.
No,
She didn't
none of
bother
the
me.
acting. Well, I was gonna say none of the acting bothered me. But I didn't love Nick Cage, the Longlegs character, and I did love the FBI aspect, but I didn't know going into it that there was gonna be the demonic, and I just didn't understand. Like, were we just supposed to know that they're putting a ball of whatever inside of a
soul
doll
or whatever
it's
it
like,
is,
it
like
just
the
felt
spirit.
like this whole new thing, and maybe it makes it unique and why people loved it.
But I think
for me, I just wasn't prepared for any of that, and it didn't feel like a any type of thing that I'm used to. So I don't know. Not that I wanted it to be predictable, but it was just like, oh, okay, there's a ball that's controlling these girls, and it didn't feel. It felt kind of alluded to me a little bit.
and that's kind of why the second viewing is different, because now
you're expecting that
there's this supernatural satanic element to it, so you're like, you're putting that element kind of into everything that happens up to that point. But yes, watching the whole movie, and it's like, oh, this is kind of like, Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs or Seven or
people
something
have
like
definitely made the Silence of the Lambs comparison.
And then it gets to the end, and it's like, oh no, it's just supernatural, and it's just there are no rules, anything can happen. Essentially, there's another horror movie like that. I don't know if you've watched Late Night with the Devil yet.
No, I haven't. I heard it's
really good.
Yeah,
that one's good, but it's kind of the same idea. The last 20 minutes just take this turn, and it's like, all right, everything else was kind of grounded in reality to a degree.
Now I don't have to watch it.
And now
I was gonna say that anybody will get a late night show now.
Spoiler.
well, I didn't think that one wasn't on the list for this October. So,
I don't.
And I know you're not going to watch it.
So yeah, that part, like the idea that there's this chamber containing a gas, a demonic. I mean, whatever. Like, does that make her normal? Like that. I questioned that part at the end. Like when you saw it leave her, I was like, so does she not? Because I feel like the answer to, or the explainable answer to how someone like that could get like into the FBI. Yeah, maybe it's the Will Graham-esque. I think you saw it in when they had her testing her, watching the pictures.
Yeah.
I think she probably would test like off the charts, right? Like she has.
she's super smart.
Right, she has it. She has a
Well,
gift.
the psychic ability is what they were going for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She's
Which
got the
is
sight.
The Shining.
That whole opening
The sight
scene.
beyond sight.
The whole opening scene where they're, hunting down what on first viewing I didn't realize was totally separate from
Yes.
Longlegs, right? Like
Yeah.
So it's just another case they're working on to kind of show her psychic
I mean,
abilities.
the
or
fact
whatever,
that she
but-
wouldn't even call for backup after her partner got shot in the head.
Yes.
Probably should get
Just
her out of
ran
the
in
FBI
there. Yeah.
as opposed to end further.
It's just that everyone
Yes.
everyone seemed to accept that it was all supernatural without like any question. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, there's a doll with a ball, and you have psychic ability, so we're going to use that. And it's just like no one's like, no, this isn't real. No one was doubting it.
Well, there were only 3 FBI agents in the whole thing. I mean, it's a small field office.
4.
Oh, well, yeah, one of them got shot.
Yeah. Well, and there was a room full before that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it was set in the 90s, right? Because you had Bill Clinton.
But that's what I
On the
thought.
95.
Okay.
Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
And then I think I read, and maybe I shouldn't have, but after I watched the movie, but just Longlegs was really just a thought that came into the director. He's like, I just thought it would be scary and creepy words. And I'm like, okay,
So
this doesn't really mean anything.
I saw a note saying, I don't know how much to take this. If you're saying that the director said, oh, I just came up with it, that's definitely possible.
If you got something better, I'll take it.
Speaking of which, writer-director Osgood Perkins,
Yep.
son of Anthony Perkins, best known for playing Norman Bates in Psycho. The note I saw was the nickname Longlegs does go unexplained. It's actually an homage to an old nursery rhyme called Goosey Goosey Gander, with the earliest publication in like 1784. An alternate version is known as Old Father Longlegs and goes as follows. Old Father Longlegs can't say his prayers. Take him by the left leg and throw him downstairs. So there's either a lot of
There's something.
allusion to that idea, like played out, or the director came up with it on it.
just thought it was creepy words.
Right.
Yeah.
So, either way, I felt like, so in that first snapshot when they deliberately are not showing you like his face, but he's like, oh, I have my long legs on. I'm like, okay, like, is there more to that? Like, I don't really 100% know what that means. Does that mean pants? I'm literally not sure.
I'm
super
going to be
tall.
able to chase you down, or what does it mean?
Yeah.
Just tall's out of your
Yeah.
view.
So
Right,
the
'cause
other,
then he bends down.
Right.
Yeah, there's that.
Because he was out of frame.
Right.
And then he says it, and then he pops into view.
I wasn't, and then I was genuinely confused. Was he like, what's the right word? Like a
demon.
well, like, so at her house when she sees a figure outside and she goes in, it kind of seemed like something floated into her house, as opposed to like a person just walking in.
Like, can he go through walls?
Right. Like, is he more, I don't know what the right term there is, but
It
like,
follows cannot go through walls, but it can.
Oh.
but like, it
Believe
felt
me, I
like,
wrote that down.
Spectre, a spirit,
and
a ghost.
even at the end, her mom kind of felt like she came out of nowhere to be behind the car. So it felt to me like maybe I am misinterpreting it, but I
Yeah.
was curious on that.
No, I don't think. I think the mom and Longlegs, Nick Cage. I think they're normal people, and he was
Just in service of the devil.
the satanic one. Yeah. But did he live in her basement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because at the end, like when
But
Lee
for how long
goes-
is
Right,
obviously
yeah,
a
yeah.
I
question.
think since she was a kid.
A little kid.
Yeah, since she was a
and
little
she
kid.
never
So for the last however
noticed
20
that
years.
this
or
creepy
something.
dude was
Yeah.
living in the
or
basement.
it's just because of the
Or
doll, like it just
blacked
she just
out.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, that
Maybe.
was part of it that was like
Right,
kept
there
from
was that they did mention
Mm-hmm.
that like these are taking away your memories or whatever you won't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, maybe
you know,
when-
some of that stuff, I didn't necessarily hate it either. I just didn't really enjoy it, and I appreciated some of that, like those things that they, some big reveals, towards the end. But I don't know, and then you kind of they set it up right to have the FBI
Yeah.
director's daughter's birthday that she invited to
Yep.
the party, and then
That was
you knew
always
it-
looming
you
out
knew-
there.
Yeah, it was always looming. I didn't think about it, and I was like, oh, okay, well that
How could
it's
you
a
not
pretty
think about like
pretty
that,
good ending.
That little girl was like, "Oh, just come sit in my room, creepy FBI lady."
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say a word while we were in here. You want to come to my birthday party? Like,
Hang out. We're
Yeah.
cool now.
yeah, this is my best friend.
But it's like okay, it makes a triangle based on if you
Well,
look at the
yeah,
dates.
I saw that
and
too.
It's like
yeah,
I think
I could
saw
put a bunch of
couple
numbers on a
TikToks
thing.
where people are like
and-
modern horror movies. They're just like, I see the triangle everywhere, and it's like, yeah, that's what
it's-
they're doing here.
Yeah, you see Idle Hands from the '90s with Devon Sawa and all that.
I
Like,
don't think I've seen that.
Jessica Alba?
Yeah, Jessica Alba, Seth Green. Vivica Fox is like the one hunting down the demon that like gets into the hand or whatever, and she goes to a prison and it's already escaped the one guy's hand, so she goes back to her camper that she's traveling around in, and it's literally just a map of like California or wherever they live, and there's like 5 dots on it, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she
It's a
just makes like a
pentagram.
pentagram,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Dude, you could make these dots anything.
Right,
Like,
it's all
it could be a
kind of arbitrary.
stop sign. Like,
You put the birthdays on the specific way.
make
you
a circle, and right in the middle, that's where he's got to be."
Right.
So yeah, that also, and it's like, oh, there's one more. The 13 isn't circled or whatever.
yeah.
It's like, oh wait, my daughter's birthday. We're celebrating her birthday.
It would
on
have
the
felt
13th.
like that Blair Underwood would have had a little bit of intuition on. I mean, I know he's just a booze hound at this point, but like it would have been like, oh yeah, we're looking for a birthday on the 13th. My daughter's is coming up. I thought the actress was pretty rough. Like
I did not care for her.
Martin, if you didn't, that's fine. I was legitimately like, I'm not sure if she's doing a good job at what she's trying to do or if she's just bad.
Yes, I felt the exact same way.
I feel like she got the role because of It Follows, though, right? Like it wasn't until I looked it up because I watched
had
Longlegs
the
first.
same complaint about It Follows.
Yeah,
I had the same
I'm not
complaint
100%
with her.
sure
Yeah.
she's a good actress.
I'm in Brady's boat on this one.
I think she's just one of the indie horror darlings. Doesn't
Well,
have a
and
scream.
I guess the question is why.
The question is why. Yeah, I'll agree. I don't know.
And it's funny because I was taking some stuff out to the garbage in the alley tonight.
Always
earlier.
good after a couple horror movies.
Saw Freddy come down with the arms.
Yeah, the really long arms all the way down, just running. No, my neighbor came by, and he's a big horror guy also. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to record this podcast tonight we're doing. And I mentioned the movies, and he's like, oh, Micah, whatever. He's like, oh, she's
Monroe.
so amazing. And I was like, yeah, she's all right, I guess. I was like, So, I mean, there is a camp out there that thinks
Yeah.
she's great. And
I'm not sure. I don't
again,
know.
maybe we're misinterpreting what she was trying to do in the movies.
Definitely a flat
them.
affectation and everything she does, right?
Yeah.
There's only one mode,
Yeah.
or one switch,
Yeah.
one level of Micah.
I think she has a little bit more, obviously, emotion in It Follows.
Yep.
Which, I watched after,
So, yeah.
Longlegs, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good, right?
I thought it was pretty decent. I give a lot of credit to the filmmakers for making it not like it was like clean. Like it was clean, simple. Like the camera angles they used.
I like that word.
It wasn't
I know
like
what you're saying.
like the colors weren't oversaturated or anything like that.
I was like
it just,
that one dude was definitely hanging dong. So
It was drab,
On the
lots of
roof.
nudity.
yeah,
That was
I don't know what your
that's
definition of clean
her
is. So
grandpa.
we're going
That was her grandpa.
on the
On
roof.
the
Was?
roof, yeah.
Okay, because I
On the
know
roof.
in the swimming pool is her
If you look at the
dad.
picture, yes,
Yes.
swimming pool was the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the pictures.
How'd you wait? Did we ever see the grandpa somewhere?
just
in
in
a
a picture.
In a
Right.
picture, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but just like the way that they shot it, and then just like
hanging dong.
Yeah.
the different techniques they
It's
use.
always sunny.
Yeah, I love the spinning.
Yes.
Oh, see,
They
that
did it
one-
like twice.
I
and
wrote
think it
the
was
spinning
great.
one down like when she was in the high school.
Yes.
And
Yes.
like they were going into the high school to see if that kid
Yeah.
his name. That spin made me dizzy. I was like, oh God.
But I
This
liked
over.
it because you see a person walking.
It's per-
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they don't tell you if it is. You know, they
Right.
don't show because
No,
they
it was a
leave
cool
before,
shot.
Or actually, no, you see.
It
Then
just
you
made
see the
me
person
dizzy.
walking towards the car. Yeah, I just like that. There's lots of scenes like that, right, where you're like, is that somebody or is it not?
Right.
Most of the times it was, but it was just I think it was shot really well. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a unique idea. And yeah, it executed pretty well for an indie movie, and I just really like this movie.
I'm pretty sure it's the first time we've watched two horror movies that I didn't not like either of them.
Okay.
I
So
I
Wait,
was-
you didn't?
I did not like it.
So you liked them?
Close. Yeah.
he's
I
not going
didn't
to say
hate
that.
Yeah, I did not like them. I said what I said.
So you like these more slower kind
Well,
of...
like I liked Longlegs because of the
FBI
Mindhunter
procedural.
yeah.
vibe, right? Like, yeah, I like that. That's 100% what I like.
Yeah.
Well, I like that stuff.
Right, because it's not... Some people don't even consider it horror.
That's the
per
thing.
se,
I
right?
wouldn't call it a horror
Right.
movie, and it's more
It's like
of
a
a thriller
suspenseful-
suspense
yeah.
movie, and those I'm fine with,
But a
especially.
satanic thriller.
Well, yeah. Then they dipped the toe.
Yeah,
at the end.
Just the last 20 minutes.
And in this one, yeah, it's okay. I don't even know if I might even like Longlegs better. I think this movie is just I agree with what you guys were saying,
Yeah.
like how it looks and shot, but from the movie standpoint, I don't know if I loved if I loved it, right? Like I thought there was a cool, like the opening scene I thought was cool. I don't really know how. I
Use
don't
your
know.
words.
Yeah,
It feels
I'm
well thought
struggling.
out to me. That's I think what I liked about
as
it.
opposed to
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it feels like everything's intentional. And when you said clean, I don't know if that's what you meant, but like, yeah, every shot is thought of, and they try to do a couple of really good jump scares. So
I
definitely
had 3 of them.
yeah.
three of them, and they weren't
really?
they weren't the scariest thing ever, but
No.
they were
Yeah.
good. They were definitely serviceable. So
I'm
I
definitely
probably
curious what
put
they
it-
were because I didn't have any. So
Put it
It's
on your
like,
scale, maybe the 2 or 3.
It's like when the alien
I have a
comes
guess.
to the birthday party in Signs, right? It's like
Oh,
it's
that
not
was
a horror
legitimately
movie,
awesome.
Like, ugh.
yeah, that was
Oh,
a great
that-
one.
Science
so
birthday
good.
party is like
Oh.
up there.
way up there.
Yeah, because you don't see it the whole time, and then it builds up. It's like
Yeah.
the jaw seeing the shark for the first.
I would
time.
like to know what your jump scares are. If there's 3 of them, I have one.
the
I
tall guy
think-
in the room.
So
Oh,
when I
that's a
watched
creepy
it the
jump.
first time, I specifically remembered that.
the
Like,
tall
I
guy,
when I-
coming
Tall guy
in
was good.
behind
Behind the
behind
girl.
through the door when she's freaking out in the bedroom. But like, I specifically remembered when I watched it the first time that creeped me the fuck out. Like that spot for some reason. And so obviously when I watched it again for the second time, I knew it was coming and it didn't creep me out as much. And I was almost like
Covering his eyes.
I was almost like second guessing myself, like, oh, was it really that scary the first time? Like, but for some reason that
don't know.
creeped
That
me
one-
out. Just
okay.
because you see the girl coming in, and then all of a sudden there's this
Yeah.
creepy
It's well done
tall
because
dude.
he just
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, and his eyes, his
Yeah.
My
eyes
guess
are
was
black.
when they're in the shed on the beach and the littler boy like
Oh,
breaks through.
yes.
Breaks through the
That's
door.
my
Yes.
guess for one of yours.
That
But
was-
I did
Yep.
not jump for that.
That was one. The red ball hitting the window
Okay.
when
Yep.
she's in
Okay.
the house, the
Yeah.
kickball. And then I don't. It wasn't the beach. That wasn't the other one. I'd have to think about it for a minute, but I literally just marked 2.
Was it when the first time the girl was in the house pissing all
Oh,
over
yeah.
herself?
Like just one tit out, just like walking through
weird.
the
That
kitchen.
was weird.
Just like,
I don't remember that part, but when I watched it again the
It's
second
also
time,
thought
I'm
out
like,
and clean.
except for the urine.
But again, Did she open the door and come in?
Half-tinted
or
urinator.
did she just come through the window?
As we know, urine is sterile.
I mean, there might be some reason for that. And there was also when was it Josh? Was it the boyfriend, or not the boyfriend, but the guy that took it from her with the mom who got killed by his mom when she was humping him? Like, there was a lot of weirdness there too. Greg?
Yeah, it was Greg.
There was stuff going on there too. Like, was she peeing on him, or
Yeah, a lot of.
so? Yeah, maybe not well thought out, but there was
weird.
definitely some strangeness. But it was fine.
The guy who gave it to her, Hugh, I had as a poor man's Pacey.
totally, that's good. That's real good.
That was the first thing that popped into my head, and he definitely looked like people.
And actually, I have a question. So since I watched it again, when she goes out and swims out to the boat.
Oh,
so it's
she
very
was bang all those dudes?
No, it's very ambiguous. There's a lot of
because then they ask, like, why didn't you give it to anyone else? And she said, I didn't, but I think she did and just didn't tell anybody.
It bought her time. I think she did too.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So then did Paul give it to the prostitute?
the thing
yeah,
is,
for sure that.
The thing is, though, unless I'm misunderstanding it, it's not like she could go out and give it to all three of those guys.
No,
she was
just
going to
the
give it
first
to
one.
one.
Yeah.
So it's like
Well, and if she
Probably
didn't,
could have found one
if
guy.
she
it
didn't
wasn't a big boat.
right? And if she didn't sit out there and explain to these guys, like, "Hey,
I think
I'm going to bang you,"
the
and
illusion
then this
was,
guy is going to come.
I'm going to swim out and be like, "Do you want to have sex?"
right, but
And one of them's going to be like, "Yeah."
but she knew at that point that if whoever she gives it to dies, it's still coming back to her.
It was buying her time.
I think
Okay.
so too. And I think
To
she
figure
was
something
trying,
out.
and then that's why I think.
I feel like
Paul?
there
Paul?
were guys closer that she didn't
Paul was
swim
the-
to.
Staying on the boat felt like a good idea for a
Right.
walker.
Right. That's what I was thinking. She's like, oh, I'm just going to hang on the boat. Like, it's not coming through the water, right?
It's a walker. There are limitations.
walking underwater.
Right, he
and
can't
then walks-
swim up, so as long as you're the depth of the water,
Well, like you said,
the
they're not
bottom of the sea.
They're dumb.
He said they're not dumb.
They're
He
not
said
dumb, but they're
but
slow.
they're not dumb. So they would find a way. That's whatever.
Yeah, that one
in
was
the,
just
in the
pissing
lore of
itself
the
the whole
movie,
time.
they'd find a way into
Right.
the water.
Is this
but-
just a metaphor for herpes?
It is.
I mean,
It's,
that's
a,
what
it's an
everyone
STD
says.
metaphor,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I
Yeah, we don't want to
that
label
takes
it
away.
as just
I think
herpes.
I think that detracts from
like
yes, that's the
herpesiphilaria.
obvious thing, but I think it just works without.
So
It,
then,
it detracts
getting into
from the obvious thing that it
Right.
is representative of.
so then
Yeah.
my second question would be, would necrophilia have worked?
I don't know. I don't know that
No.
anybody tried
It's
it.
turned into a zombie movie.
I mean, like, wouldn't it go after the dead body then?
Would
It follows, right? It goes after whoever you give it to. So if you
And, well,
were sleeping with the
do
dead
you-
body,
do you
but
have
then
to
it still
finish?
goes back down the line. Like, it goes back down the line.
so then
where
it
started.
would kill the
I
dead.
think it's saying it couldn't kill a killed body.
Right.
It
so
couldn't.
does
It goes
stop
down
there?
once
because
it
it's
kills.
already dead. So then you go back down to the person.
So it's just
the
gonna.
other
So it would
it's just
work.
gonna stand over the dead body the whole time.
Yeah.
Like shit,
just-
I don't know what the fuck to
It's
do.
just,
Just an endless loop. Like,
Oh, you guys got me.
I'm not even gonna answer your stupid question. I'm gonna dignify that with a response.
because I don't know the answer.
But yeah,
So wait, where did these fall, Jelani? On your you brought the
jump scare.
scale up.
yeah. So
scale.
this one had my jump
Did you
scare.
shit yourself?
No, unfortunately, no.
3 times.
Unfortunately, no.
I only got to JS2, so sweaty and clammy.
I did not get to that. I did not pee my pants. I did not get sweaty and clammy. I
know,
did not
did
have
pee
green
your
eggs and
pants.
ham. I don't think my knees weak or arms got heavy. There's a 0 in there. There's a JS 0.
I mean, none of that happened to me, but I'm still gonna give it a JS 2 or 3.
Just watching.
Yeah, I mean, no
I'd
movie
say
really
a 2.
does.
I'd say a 2.
Yeah,
It's a 2.
It's a 2.
A
That's
little creepy,
It's a solid
but-
2, possibly.
But again, they were my second viewing, so I kind of knew.
And I walked
Tall
out
man
to the
was
alley
coming.
afterwards.
Yeah. No. It was before. No, I watched it yesterday. I went to the alley today.
I thought it was funny because not having seen this, I was trying to figure out where this movie was taking place, and then I saw when she goes to the ice cream shop and it's Tyler and 12 Mile. I'm like, oh, we're in Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
And
So
the
they
only
literally talk about it.
another Detroit,
horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eminem for putting 8 Mile into the lexicon, so we know where
Yep.
8 Mile is located.
Well, they're driving I think they were driving earlier in the movie or walking through a neighborhood or something, and I'm like, where's this take place? And I'm like,
Barbarian neighborhood.
is this Detroit? Like,
What's the other horror
then-
movie in Detroit?
The one that we watched with Barbarian.
Oh my gosh.
You're on the
Yeah, Don't Breathe.
There you go.
Yes.
Don't
It's
breathe.
like I
also.
can picture the poster.
Yeah. Also,
that
also
movie.
happens in Detroit.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, then they're driving through. I'm like, all right, I'm looking at all these houses. I'm like, this is what the media portrays Detroit as. So, and then, yeah, they purposely said 8 Mile. I'm like,
Well,
okay.
in the time frame they said was intentionally left like undefined.
Oh, well,
so
that-
it was
yeah.
like they had cars shown from like a different range of times, but then also
She had her
that
her
clam
seashell.
phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
everyone
seashell
has one
shell.
of those, right?
Was
Never,
it? Was
ever
that
even heard of that?
A
It looked
Kindle?
like
No,
right. It looked like an
It's
e-reader.
like a
'cause
Kindle
she was
in
reading a
in
book.
in
So it
a
wasn't a
scallop
phone.
shell.
It was like
Yeah.
conflicting technology. It was
Yeah.
like new tech on an old device type thing.
Talk
and-
about small print. That thing was only like this
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
How are you
Yeah.
reading
And
Dostoevsky?
They said
the
it's
first-
also like
the first girl had a cell phone. She called
Oh,
on her cell phone when she called her dad from the beach when she was going to die.
oh, right. You're right. Yes.
So,
She got all twisted up like a pretzel.
yeah, I mean
And her
that
foot
was
gone, wasn't it?
that was the
one
great
foot was
opener.
gone, the other one was bent.
That was why I said a great opening scene. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know why. That was the first spin because
Well,
she's running in a
that's right.
circle.
Also,
Yeah.
that dad did not seem very concerned at
I
all.
mean, your daughter's in like borderline like a nightgown running
Running
in
in circles. In the
Also-
But that's
street.
one of the things about
Was
the
it
whole
at
movie.
night?
All the parents are like in the background and not really that
Yeah.
concerned. They're
right,
just walking
yeah, yeah.
away.
Well,
or,
the one mom's a drunk. Like, I even like wrote
Well,
that
one's
down
a
before
humper.
it got to that. I was like, where are the parents during this? I'm like, oh, well, they show the...
Where are the parents?
Where are the parents?
This is a dad podcast, right? Like, I would never let my daughter
bad
just
parenting.
run out in her nightgown screaming down the street, especially wearing high heels. Like,
Yeah,
and
that
then the
was an
neighbor's
interesting
like,
choice.
oh, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I would have second guessed that as the neighbor. Like, you sure?
But I liked that idea that because she could see something that no one else
Right.
could, which she didn't
Yes.
understand yet.
Yeah.
And I also liked that the way they presented it with Hugh and her which good and bad, because we're in the movie theater and Hugh is saying, "Oh, is it the girl in the yellow dress?"
Yeah.
And she doesn't know what to talk about. He theoretically already knows all this is happening, so like,
Oh yeah, he definitely knew.
right, but the yellow dress thing felt like something he would have immediately recognized as what was walking towards him, as
Yeah.
opposed to like a random person that he was guessing.
Well,
Yeah.
no, he said it could show up as a random person or someone you know.
I know, but
Oh.
But then when he freaks out about it, I'm with Brady. Like if you wouldn't point it out and be like, "Oh, that girl," and then she's like, "I don't see it," and he's like, "You mean that girl?"
Yeah.
and he's like, you know
she's
what?
probably
I
just
think
standing
maybe
there,
we
like-
should leave.
Yeah, yeah.
As opposed to like, I know this person is literally hunting me.
And
Yeah.
they would be the person would be
We'd
walking,
walk
with,
into
the
it.
dead, with the dead stare.
I'm just
Right.
not
If they
feeling
were
good.
coming
Yeah,
to
yeah,
a
yeah,
movie, they'd
Yeah.
be like looking at seat numbers, like
Also,
holding popcorn.
you never go
yeah.
into, you don't go into a place with one exit. He goes to a movie theater. There's a flaw.
There's probably two. Either.
Yeah, there's-
either
Yeah,
side
there's
of the
always-
aisle.
There's not an emergency. I'm just saying. You got to sit in the dark movie theater when you have theoretically someone's
Unless
walking
you're in the
towards
Snack
you.
Shack movie theater in which
Ew.
they're behind the theater
Or the
getting hand
Twisters.
jobs.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Twisters.
But to your point, Brady, when she gets it, she's paranoid for the entire time. Like as
Yeah,
soon as it
she's a
starts
wreck.
coming, she's a wreck. He's able to go meet somebody new, go on dates and all this stuff.
You don't
I'm
know how
like,
long he's been dealing with it.
right? But
Well,
like,
and he did
why would he be
travel
so freaked
from
out?
X amount of ways.
Why
so we
wouldn't
knew he
you
had
fly
something.
across country?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd buy you a while.
No, fly to a different country.
fly to Hawaii.
They're gonna walk
it's
through
an
the
island.
water. Yeah.
Guys, you're poking holes.
How long is it going to take him to walk across the ocean?
No, what
Floor.
you do is you get a bunch of typewriters and you plug them in. To
Okay.
What was the point of that? I still don't get
Were
it. I
they
watched
gonna-
it twice.
You know
Electrocute
what,
it?
You know
Yeah.
what the point of it was.
No, what
Yeah.
was it?
They
The
were
point
going
was
to
to try to
electrocute
electrocute it in the water.
Yeah.
That's why they got a lot of electrical devices, of which maybe could
But
have.
then she's the first one in the water.
They were
going
to draw it in,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then she was going to get out.
It's like
And
a
then-
trap, Marty.
Yeah,
But also, surge protectors, like,
Well,
it's
stop
not going
and
to
have
allow
that
the
technology.
electricity to come through.
Right,
Those
it'll
are just going to
stop.
pop.
It just seemed like a pretty big backfire.
it was like a lamp.
Throwing TVs at her.
Yeah,
Like pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, he was whipping
nailing
them.
her.
Got a good arm on that
He's
demon.
got a good arm on
He's
that
got to
demon,
throw him
yeah.
hard enough to get the plug to come out.
yeah.
But
Also, it could have just done the job by turning it on and dropping one of those things in the water.
That's what I'm
Theoretically,
saying. You didn't need.
it didn't need to
50
throw
of
him at him. But I'm saying the demon could have just been like, if I'm just trying to kill that person.
Yeah.
I'll kill him with electricity.
right,
You guys have done it for me.
Also, you just could have just got like 3 toasters. You didn't even need.
That's what I'm saying. You
You
didn't
need every
that many.
desk lamp you
Yeah.
could find with a bulb.
Correct. I think that's kind of my point. Yeah, I didn't know if there was something I was missing.
I have some other questions too. Like, first of all, What was the relationship with Kelly, Jay, and Paul?
Kelly's sisters with Jay,
Right.
Yep.
and Paul was their
Paul was a
friend.
neighbor
Paul's their friend.
Yeah.
Right.
He's probably
Family
like-
friend.
In love
He's
with,
probably Kelly's age.
Jay.
Right.
But like the older sister.
Yeah.
So then I didn't get the scene when she's like, "You were my first kiss," then you kiss Kelly, and then he's like, "You enjoy kissing your sister?" She said, "You enjoy kissing your sisters?" Is
I
that?
think because they said earlier he was like a brother.
Oh, okay.
One of them said that. I don't remember which one.
And who's the girl?
They're like,
that
oh,
got
would you?
shot?
It's like, oh, he's like a,
That
Yara?
nobody cared about
I
afterwards.
thought
She's
maybe-
just on the
He
side,
didn't
just
say-
holding her leg.
He
Yara.
didn't say he
Like-
kissed Yara. He
No.
said Kelly for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay,
definitely
fine.
said Kelly. I
Well,
remember.
Jay said it. Jay said you
Right.
kissed.
You kissed Kelly right after you
Because
kissed
Kelly
me.
said they kissed and they had already kissed. So
What was it? Because he kissed one sister and then kissed the other was. But she said it right. She said like, "What does it feel like to
that'd be
kiss your
your
sister?"
ball.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
It was
It's
just
like
I don't think
if
you
he
guys are
said
over.
it-
You're overthinking.
Yeah, I
he
think
kissed
we are.
both the sisters.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
And why all the hate towards Paul? I mean, Paul seemed like a decent dude.
That's why.
he was a little creepy.
He's a beta.
Yeah, he might be humping a leg, but who cares?
They're like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, you're not sleeping over. And he's
Yeah.
tried so hard.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
just let me sleep on the couch.
And I think it sums it up when he says, "I want to help. Let me help."
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Do you?" You know, I think that's
He's
what it
like,
is. It's like he
"Yeah,
really
dude."
just wants to get laid.
Yes, exactly.
No,
So,
he
I don't know
wanted
how,
to
how
take
much
her.
of a good guy he really is.
I think so. I think he wanted to help. He wanted
He did. I
to
think.
he was willing to essentially take it on to help her.
Would he do it if he didn't get to sleep with her? Probably not.
I think he
I
was.
think
Oh,
so.
I think he
you're-
wanted to
I
sleep
think
with
you're
her from the beginning of the movie.
Right,
I mean,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
Yeah.
but it's because he loves her.
I don't know how
Right.
honorable those intentions are.
It's because he loves her. He's not just trying to hook up with her.
Yeah,
But again, like,
disagree.
well, and then he goes and he sleeps with the prostitute at the very
Yeah.
end, right?
Right.
But I'm pretty sure he didn't stick around to tell the prostitute what was
No,
going to
for
happen.
sure.
You guys, I don't understand.
And
Do
so-
you think that everyone's delivering the message?
No, because if it keeps going down the line, if the next person dies, if you don't explain it to them that they have to get rid, like it's going to have
Maybe
to
they were
get
just-
a few
maybe they were
rows
hoping-
down the line, or
They're just
people
buying
down
I
the
think
line.
he was hoping, buying time. But I think he was also hoping that the prostitute would get it to a guy, and
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then
and then
sleep
back
with a
and
bunch
forth.
of people.
If you
Yeah.
sleep with a prostitute, the odds
You're
are,
probably
your odds are at
sleeping
least
with other prostitutes.
And I
that
think
are
that's
different.
why. Yeah, I think that's why she tried the boat, didn't work because again, the girl's easier to
Giving it to a prostitute's borderline making a serial killer. Because
Do we think he probably got an STD after he slept with the prostitute?
He's not worried about this
Yeah.
at this point.
I don't know. It was like the rundown, fucking,
like a real one, or like the
yeah,
follows.
no, a real one, a real one. He's got something else to worry about.
I will
now.
not justify your question with a response.
He's got the gonorrhea now too, and
My-
it follows.
My second.
Well, then there's something walking, so
Yeah,
that
behind them,
prostitute's
yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My second question: what's with all the TVs on top of other things?
Yes.
Was
no,
that-
TVs on TVs.
TVs on TVs.
Yeah.
TVs
You didn't
on
have that growing up?
What are you talking about?
when
I
when
did
he's
see
watching
one.
the movie
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the,
the
he's
old
sitting on the
movie.
couch. He's got the old movie in the TV on top of another TV.
So no, when your big cabinet TV
Dies.
you just put the new one on
I
top.
think it's just to show that they're kind of poor and
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
that was
guess.
like,
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what era this takes place
Right.
in, right? Because that's like my parents. We had that growing up in our family room for the longest time, and that was the late '80s and the '90s, and
But they also
we
had
didn't have flip, clamshell.
yeah. They also had a
e-readers.
TV on the trash can out by the pool too, in the backyard.
and that
Oh,
pool.
yeah.
That pool was a nice pool.
So are we to believe that Greg walked into the pool? That's why it was destroyed at the end?
Yeah, I was wondering that, but
Because that really didn't get explained.
it didn't. But I assumed that it at some point walked through the pool.
Yeah, but
So-
it doesn't really
But it
explain
didn't show.
how or why that would have ever happened.
right. That's a good question too. I had that question.
What's it? So it or the thing or whatever.
It seems to be the
It not Pennywise.
Yes. So it can affect like physical space,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it has to go through doors or windows or whatever. But I feel like there were too many times where it just kind of appeared.
well, if it's
Like
always
you
on a
wouldn't
walk.
hear, right? It's just it's Alfred's leisurely.
But they
stroll.
always go through rooms that have multiple exits, so maybe one
But
of those
like-
exits.
like-
I
are
don't know
open.
when
the
did
late-
it just appear?
the lady in the kitchen that was pissing all over herself.
Well, they broke the window.
They broke the window. Climbed through the
Oh,
window.
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which they all heard.
Paul's, of course.
Nobody
saying,
heard the door open into the pool for it to come in at the end.
Oh, I don't think there was a
That
door.
was too
It was
far.
on the outside. and
Yeah.
then walking.
And
in.
they
So
must have left the door.
He went through the locker room.
yeah, something like that.
Took a shower. Put on
Shower
his
before you get into the
sandals.
pool.
Maybe I got to watch it for a third time and just
Jay's
be like,
dad.
all right.
Yeah, I think that.
'Cause,
that
I
was
mean,
pretty
he,
fairly consistent.
okay.
Not too many flaws.
Yeah, maybe
there.
it's just me
I like
thinking
that
too
too
much.
because she was like, "I don't want to tell you." Like, who is it? And she's like, "I don't want to tell you."
Yeah,
You know,
right. Because it was the
why
father.
would you
realize
tell? Like,
that
we're trying to
until
kill
later.
someone that looks like your dad,
Yeah,
who we don't know why isn't there.
right.
And then my last nitpick.
Probably because the moms are drunk. But
Does nobody clean up after themselves?
No, not and
Like,
with the moldy sandwich.
The moldy
I
sandwich.
loved it. I loved that.
The guy's old
great
Kleenexes
touch.
in his
That's what I'm
house.
saying,
Like,
by
come on,
thought out.
clean
I
up.
love. Well, yeah, the Kleenexes.
oh yeah,
was
yeah.
not great.
Take care of yourself.
But well, he was taking
Find
care of himself.
just find a corner and
Right.
put all that.
But I
in.
liked
dump
the
'em.
sandwich because I was like, oh, she's still eating the Doritos and like the same meal. But then I'm like, nope, that's literally the same meal because the pickle's all dried out.
I was gonna say
and
that's why it's the
sandwich
old
is
moldy because there was
Yeah,
a pickle.
I
on
thought
it.
that was cool.
Brady would have been like, leave it right there.
I didn't necessarily catch it initially, but the why she slept with Greg, I mean, I knew, but it was because she couldn't go anywhere. She was trapped, and so it was inevitably going to catch her
Yes,
because she was
in the
essentially
hospital.
immobile and wasn't going to be able to leave. It didn't dawn on me in the moment that essentially it was like, oh, that's why she's sleeping. That's why he's sleeping. Well, I mean, one of the reasons why he's sleeping with her and we'll take it on is because she's dead. If no one does anything, she's dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just was like, oh, she slept with him so he could, he's like, I'll deal
But
with
also,
it.
how did he survive 3 days? Like, how far were they
without
from?
even seeing it.
Yeah, it was
Right.
weird. Well, we don't know how far they drove.
I was
we
gonna
don't know how
say,
far they drove,
but didn't
yeah.
you see him down in the Was he in the cafeteria like afterwards talking to those girls eating the hamburger?
Yeah.
So are we potentially supposed to think that he gave it to them?
So I thought that
I mean, it doesn't matter because
Or
it came
he
back
just-
to him eventually.
right,
eventually,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Like I said,
And
if you don't
but it was
explain the
him.
rules, nobody knows that they got to
Yeah,
move.
That
this
was
thing
the
up.
weirder part. It was him, right?
What?
When Jay saw it out the window, it was Greg.
Was Greg?
Greg going after Greg.
Yes,
Right.
Yes,
Which was
and then
which
it
I
turned
thought
into his
which I thought
mother
was odd.
That was Greg?
upstairs.
I mean, I
because
think
that's
so.
why
Broke
she.
into the house.
That's why she went
Yeah.
after it.
Yeah,
That's what I thought because
I thought it was
you
just
didn't really
a
see
dude.
him, but you saw longer hair in like a full like pajama.
I didn't think it was. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I took it as it being Greg, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird in and of itself to me. That like, yes, it could take any being, but like being you
Yourself.
is and I was like, maybe that's because she's seeing it as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Could be.
I don't know.
I think everybody sees it as something in their life, maybe. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know if that would
Well,
explain the
yeah,
tall man,
the tall man
or
and
that
the-
kid, and the
Or the
shed.
woman
Old
in the
lady.
beginning.
The woman.
The old lady in the beginning was good. Old lady, and tall man. I think were good ones. Good, well cast.
Not grandpa on the roof,
Not Grandpa on the roof.
just like hey,
Just
Hanging out.
yeah, it just
Rando.
doesn't even move.
Yeah, start
yeah.
walking. And
Well,
How did you
that's
get up
the
on the
thing.
roof?
Like, how
You're
far
still gotta
did
walk.
they?
That doesn't
How
make any
far
sense.
did they drive to the lake house? And then
I'll be honest,
how
not-
long did it take? Right,
she also wrecked like an eighth of a mile from
Jeez,
like
right?
they could have at least had it be like miles down the road. Like
right.
theoretically she'd have been
Would
caught.
have been dead then. Yeah, I thought so. I thought that too. But
But
whatever.
it was like 100 yards away.
yeah.
Let's assume that there was a time cut and she was actually driving for 20 minutes or something before
Right,
that
but-
happened.
How
Yeah.
far can you drive?
You saw her whole drive.
I know. I thought we did too. Yeah, from the back of the car.
As-
out of the driveway
yeah.
into the mailbox.
As a former detasseler of corn, how far do you think you could take an 87 station wagon into a cornfield?
She didn't make it 100 yards.
No,
No.
And it was on the property. She did. An
So-
ambulance was supposed to come get her and take her to a hospital. I don't get any of this.
So I don't know if Longlegs had a bunch of jump scares, but it did have. I think the creepiest moment of it was when Longlegs was banging his head on the
my
table.
God.
Dude.
yeah.
I
That
don't
was
think I'd seen
intense.
anything like that on film, and it looked pretty real and good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
that was probably
Yeah.
the best
So-
horror movie scene of the movie.
So what I had
It's a JS2 on my scale.
and I had heard about this before seeing the movie, and when I heard about it, no real intentions to ever see the movie. But
Wait, did I tell you?
Micah, Was that?
No, I kind of
going
pushed
Micah.
it. I pushed Longlegs. I was hoping it would be better, but I'm then after
you
I'm
wanted to watch it
it's a
too.
good conversation.
Yeah, I voted for it.
No,
So,
yeah, it was fine. I just
Micah-
didn't know if I spoiled it for him
No,
months ago.
Micah, I saw
to do
her an interview with her. I might even been like one of the late shows. She said,
God, you're
Late Night
obsessed
with the
that.
Devil.
it's all TikTok, man.
No, I'm just kidding.
She said the first time she saw Nicolas Cage was that scene. She had not seen him yet
Yeah.
in like what he was going to look like. Now I didn't know what that meant. I still thought the movie had a reference to spiders or some shit.
Yeah, right.
So did I.
Daddy Longlegs.
Yeah.
But she said that interrogation scene was her first time seeing him, and it was like right into the the
Banging his head.
And
Yeah,
it
pretty
was
much.
his last scene that he shot too.
yeah, because none of his scenes were with her prior to
right,
that, and
right.
so it was which was great. I mean, she said it was like kind of traumatizing for multiple reasons, but
Yeah. And that's why I say she, you guys saying she didn't do great. I thought she did well in that scene.
In that scene, yeah, I thought she was
scene,
fine.
Sure,
Yes. Yes.
there's a whole other movie we gotta know.
I know.
Yeah, there's
She didn't bother me.
100
I think
other
it's
minutes.
I maybe understand what you're saying. Like, it wasn't amazing, but she didn't.
Yeah.
It was all believable. I never really thought about her being like. I
Awful?
don't like. Yeah, I never
Yeah.
thought about her being awful.
I don't know,
me.
just too skittish. I think just to be like a field agent for the FBI. I just feel like
Take
you
technicality bullshit.
She's not a main girl. You don't.
No.
She's not a scream. What do they call them? Final girls.
Final girls. Yes.
She's not the final girl that you.
So,
want.
but what are our thoughts on Cage?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it
I
feels
thought
like a
he-
relevant question.
He
Yeah.
was being Nicolas Cage.
I liked all the
I think
jean
he was having
jacket
fun with it
and the jean shirt or whatever.
The
Very
glam,
faded.
yeah.
I like the outfit more than I don't really understand what they were going for with like all
The makeup.
That. Yeah,
Yeah. I didn't
Why
really
so
get it
white?
either.
Why so white, but also so much like latex?
And
it
it-
just looked
Yeah.
latexy.
It looked, yes.
So he was
it
making
looked
himself
like
a doll.
Maybe
Something to
Is
do
that
with
it?
that. That's the only thing I came up with was that maybe
It's a
he
good-
was like.
I'll
doing-
buy that.
He wanted to be a doll, like.
But
he
I
was
do think
making.
it could have been explained more. I think they spent so much time trying to keep him out of like the story and out like in the background. But I feel like there was some construction to the character that probably would have helped everybody like that, understanding why he looks so fucking different and odd. I mean, I would have liked that more than him going to a hardware store and being creepy. I mean, that was kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like they just called him creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Just
Friend of the
showing
pod.
that he goes out.
Friend of the pod, Charlie said not to compare to Silence of the Lambs, but I'm pretty sure he liked it. So I'm sure he'll tell me all the reasons I'm wrong for not really enjoying it. But maybe I do need to give it another whirl.
I didn't think there was this possible horror / whatever we want to label this movie
Thriller
that I would like more than Martin.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think we found one.
Yeah.
I found one.
I think the other thing that both of these movies show is that you kind of have to be okay with not having a resolution to the end of the movies, right? Like, there's nothing that gets really resolved.
I prefer that.
Yeah. Nothing. Not.
I prefer
everything
the
has to
open
be a
ended. Like I
happy
love
ending.
the ending of
Right.
It Follows.
Yeah.
What maybe it's following them, or maybe it's just a person walking down the sidewalk.
You don't know. I love that.
Like
I
I
love
said,
the spinning top in Inception. You know,
It's
like,
eventually going to come back. Whoever outlives the last person or whatever, it's still moving down the line, and someone's going to have to deal with it.
yeah.
Oh, the
don't
last
stop believing.
the last note on that the anecdote from her in Longlegs. She had a microphone on during that scene, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I read it too. Yeah.
She had a microphone on in that scene, and it was able to capture her heartbeat. And she was at 76 beats per minute when it started, and at the end she was at 170.
Damn.
Yeah, and she like
That's
the,
a lot.
I think we're getting JS3 level there.
the sound,
She might piss herself.
the sound of
shit
the the sound of the heartbeat. They used it in a trailer, like her heartbeat in the trailer.
That's awesome.
Agreed. And I just feel like that. But it's like if you could imagine, we talked about that scene. It was pretty awesome. Like you think about that being from her perspective, like it's intense as hell.
Oh yeah, if that's the first time she's seeing it,
170.
and
That's
does
hummingbird.
everybody have? Not everybody has a watch, right? I was going to say
Not
for the
Apple
next
Watch.
movies, we should take our monitor our hearts. and
Yeah.
see
I'll borrow
if it
Brooklyn's.
spikes.
I feel like
see
I
what
would just
happens.
be
borrow Mary's. I know
just
she got a new
even.
one.
Brady too. Brady's just going to be 60, an even 60.
So just calm.
Brady's like,
yeah.
you're dead. You should get up and move around.
All right, so I had a question because for you horror guys, that there was a note saying that in the flashbacks in Longlegs that you could see the original Annabelle doll.
I saw that note. I did not catch it in the
Okay.
movie.
I thought you again.
did not.
I know.
I
I
have
don't know.
not.
I've not seen any of those
Annabelle's
movies.
from what series?
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
Yeah, it's that universe, James Wan.
Yeah.
And all that.
I have not seen. I've only seen the first Conjuring. I haven't seen all.
Okay.
I haven't seen Annabelle.
Yeah, and I don't
No?
know. I know
There-
of it.
Yeah.
Have not seen any of it, but I knew that you guys would be. If it had been seen, you would have seen
Yeah.
it. But Redding missed it.
I did not
feel like
see
it must
it.
have been impossible.
No, I did not see it. But yeah, the original Conjuring is one of my favorite movies from, horror movies from the last, 10, 15 years or whatever.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to watching that one again.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I did not catch Annabelle. I have seen all of the Annabelle creation. There's 2 or 3 Annabelle movies.
I'll take your word for it.
We were talking about Longlegs and what whether he was scary or what the face was.
Why?
Yeah.
Just why.
Yeah.
All of it. So I don't know. Our theory is the doll, but I don't know if there's anything
No,
else that
I think
that-
they were
like
just
that
trying to
theory.
make
Or do
him
we think
look
that he was
creepy.
scary? I guess is my question.
He was just weird.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
more weird.
I feel like
Creepy
Nick Cage,
because of that.
Yeah.
Nick Cage had a hand in the makeup. It feels like. I don't know. It
po-
just feels
possibly.
like a Nick Cage thing. Like if you would have told me without knowing that it was Nick, I wouldn't have
Yeah, I wouldn't have
picked
thought it
it.
was him.
No, but
known it was
when you
him.
do know, I think
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
identify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Especially when he talks.
the writer director said he only had 2 people in mind for Longlegs.
I saw that too. Yeah.
It was Nick Cage and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked to see a Brad Pitt.
I mean, I think all of us would take that, but
Brad Pitt somewhere. Damn it, Nick Cage.
He takes
not again.
He hasn't really done
Pretty sure he's
horror,
never
has
uttered
he?
those words.
Brad Pitt. Has he done any really scary movies?
No, I
Other than
wouldn't.
like California.
7.
I was gonna say yeah,
7, but that's
but
which
he's
gets
not. He's
compared
not
to
the
this.
scare. I
He's
guess I
not,
should say
no.
where he's like the villain.
No.
No,
That'd
I
be-
think you get
that'd
to
be
a point where
interesting.
you're not the bad guy ever. But
Yeah, maybe.
I
fun,
mean,
though.
it would have been. It feels unlikely that he would have been interested in doing this.
I was
but-
going to say, though, like, if you see him, do you believe he's the bad guy?
Yeah, with that much
Yes.
prosthetic makeup, maybe.
Cage played
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like
he
in
works.
12 Monkeys, he played crazy.
Yeah.
crazy. Yes,
Yeah, but I don't think you... Yeah, crazy's different than playing the bad guy.
Yeah, I understand. I'm giving him. I believe in his range.
I don't think he has that range.
I
I
believe
don't
he
think
has
he can
it.
get to that level.
I would 100% think he has the range.
I think he's got it.
I mean, what Longlegs was on camera for maybe 10 minutes in
I'm
the
saying
entire
it.
movie?
If even
I'm
then.
calling it right now.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt cannot play a villain. Nobody believe him.
No.
Unbelievable.
A villain is one thing.
It's going to happen now.
This-
He's going to hear it and he's going to be
Even
like,
with a ton of
challenge
makeup?
itself.
You would have said just this role, then maybe I could have heard your argument, but now you're just nonsensically talking for no reason.
And so, all right. Unrelated to that, I had one more question on Longlegs. At the end, did the family kind of know that they were going to be killed, but they couldn't do anything about it?
Who?
Blair
Blair
Underwood.
Underwood?
Yeah,
I know
because
what
it
you-
seemed
I
like
know
the
what you're
wife
asking.
was like,
Well, there.
"Oh, we're gonna go to the kitchen."
I think that's part of the-
now,"
I
and
think
the
they're
spell.
under the
But
yeah.
they were
It's
still
all
like-
under the spell.
You could see them almost like crying,
Yeah.
like they
I know what
knew
you're saying.
this was happening, but there's nothing they could do.
There's like a yes. I
Trance.
think there is a bit of that. Like there's some part of them is still under there, right?
Okay.
It's still underneath, or is still being controlled, and they realize what's happening to them, but they can't do anything about it, like a paralysis.
Like
I think
Get
they're-
Out?
I think that's
Yeah,
how. Yes,
right.
exactly. I think that's how they were kind of probably told to act it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it also seems weird that for however long that the mom has been delivering these dolls and just sitting there and watching the family murder themselves, like there's no way she didn't get caught. Like she's sitting in the house. She
Different
delivers
time.
the dolls.
Different time.
like,
It was the 80s.
But what-
Yeah, man.
90s.
Or 7 or
95.
95.
Different time.
I guess.
And
But,
no
like,
one
she's
and
she
was
the
a
born
nun,
out of
right?
some
no
of
one
those
no
Or
one
kind-
suspects the lady from the
from
church.
the church
From the
delivering the doll
Yeah.
you
Why
won
would
in the
anyone think
raffle?
the woman from the church has anything to do with
Right,
the
this
murder?
was
Nobody saw her just
pre-spotlight. You know, no one knew
covered
what
in
those
blood
Catholic
walking
priests were
out of
doing.
these houses.
No,
like
be-
she is head to toe bloody coming out of some of these houses.
Well, it
The
would have
devil works in mysterious ways.
I guess.
Alicia
I don't know.
Alicia Witt.
Yeah,
Good
Yeah,
job by
so-
her.
sure, fine, passable. Not as good as Micah.
Such a low bar.
I would argue and say the mom acting was better
Yeah.
than
yeah,
Micah
not even close.
in both movies.
I was just gonna say, I think this is a good, good pairing, good kickoff
Yeah,
to the
for sure.
to the month. Hopefully, we only get better from here.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to the next ones.
Yeah. As always, this thing, it's going to follow you. And you should follow us wherever you listen. Thanks, and save it for the pod.